Our next speaker is Scott. Scott Hutchinson works for British Recycle Plastic here in Calderdale. They recycle plastic to make outside furniture for schools and gardens and things. Unfortunately, that takes quite a bit of energy to recycle plastic. So we're very interested to hear Hutch's inside view of the issues that have been raised by our excessive use of plastic. Over to you, Hutch.
Hiya, how you doing? Hello everybody. Hi Mary, hi Terry, everybody out there that I love. Martina, of course. I'm from a company called British Recycle Plastic. I'm not here to try and sell you anything. I've just been there for a couple of years. I'm not in any sense an expert on global waste politics or anything like that. I've just been slinging plastic for a couple of years, learned one or two things, and from what was a layman's perspective, some of those things have been fairly surprising to me. However, it does occur to me that given you're the kind of people who are interested in a Green New Deal event, there's a good chance that this will mostly be an opportunity for you to laugh at my naivety, but that's got to be worth 10 minutes of your time as well. As a direct response to the flood of plastic pouring into the world, recycling is definitely one of the most powerful tools that we have in fighting environmental catastrophe. But it is possible to be lulled into feeling like recycling is this magic bullet, when in fact it's really important to know the limitations as well so that you can do it right. The devil really is in the details. There's also a lot of benefits that we probably don't take enough advantage of because there's not all that much awareness of what's being done, and we can change our consumption habits to make the most of them and hopefully reduce the amount of virgin plastic that's being put into the world. So the good things, first of all, obviously what recycling mostly does is take stuff out of landfill. And not just in the sense of you reusing it for its original purpose. You know, the bottles, they get melted down, they get reused for other things as well. There are lots of innovative things out in the world, lots with very long lives, and they replace things that don't necessarily have very long lives as well. So this has other knock-on benefits that you wouldn't expect. Like for instance, we and lots of other companies as well make recycled plastic lumber, which is planks basically. They can be made into all kinds of things: benches, tables, raised beds, that sort of thing. When you put in something like a fishing platform, let's say, made out of recycled plastic, first of all, people go, yeah, great, we've got a recycled plastic one. It's great for the environment and stuff. What it also is massively longer lasting than the timber one that you might well have put in there in the first place. And that means that when you come to think about the impact on its local area, you don't have that replacement difficulty of having to go in. Often, if you pull it, I've seen national parks and things that have gone in to replace even just 10-year-old, 20-year-old timber structures in the middle of lakes and stuff. They build piers and walkways that then, having rotted, they're no longer safe. They've got to be taken out, and you've got to go in there with diggers and stuff and take down trees that have grown up around the structures that you put in maybe like less than a generation ago, just to replace it or perhaps pull it out. With plastic ones, you don't have to do that. You get centuries out of these things, and with recycled plastic, obviously that's a lot of landfill that hasn't happened as well. So yeah, we've got picnic tables and planters and things that are made out of those things. In terms of innovative products that are relevant to people in Calderdale specifically, the one on the left-hand side there, you can see the grids that have been put down by this guy. These are ground reinforcement grids. This is us and some of the firms that make these things. They're designed to be put down as driveways and places to be driven over that can still drain through. You can get cheap imported ones from China that are made out of virgin plastic, and they do the job just as well. But one of the big problems with plastic in the world is its movement across borders, and we really do urge people to try and avoid buying things from overseas that are packaged in plastic or use up tons of plastic and then move across to other countries. Because in the end, what happens is that third world countries end up with this huge glut of waste plastic that they have no way of really dealing with. You have huge problems with illegal recycling operations, largely burning it or dumping it. If you look at places like Indonesia, they're just absolutely overrun with it. China introduced a ban on the import of waste plastic in 2018, which had been a major earner for them. So that'll tell you how much of a problem it's become. So you should really try and buy from at least within our island if you can do. And ideally, really, the key is obviously just to try and use as little as possible. 40% of all the plastic that's produced in the world is just used for packaging, and a lot of that is single use these days because of the way that we think about packaging things. And if we just start to make slightly different decisions about what we're gonna buy, when you buy something online, I realize in the middle of a pandemic, everybody's buying things online. It's hard not to buy stuff that's wrapped in plastic. But if you ask the question of the supplier, what's the packaging going to be? What's it going to come in? It doesn't take a majority action to change those people's perspectives. It just takes a few complaints. Any company sits up and takes notice when people start asking those questions. And it doesn't have to be from everybody. It just has to be a couple of people, because it's going to be someone's job there to pass that feedback on and say these are the drivers for people's decision making process. And again, one of the things that when I say the devil's in the details, we talk about recyclable, compostable, recycled products. There are distinctions between all those things. There are 7 kinds of plastic kind of classified currently, which there's these little triangles. Look for the little triangles on the thing that you're buying. I'm sure that we might have all come across these before, but basically trying to avoid number 7, because 7 is the one that's really difficult to recycle. It's mostly things like CDs, and it's polycarbonate is what it is, and contains a lot of unpleasant chemicals. Every firm in the sector specializes in one of these products. We do HDPE and LDPE. Other firms do polystyrene or PVC and things like that. And it's really difficult to separate them all out and all that sort of thing. Yeah, sorry. The only way to actually remove plastics from the world properly is by what they refer to as destructive thermal treatment. That is to say, burning or pyrolysis, which is heating until it's destroyed. And so we really just have to try and control the demand in order that the supply has to respond. I've heard it said that that the less we waste, the more we have, and that's really going to be more true as the oil prices have fluctuated in the last few years, and so oil prices have dropped to the point where virgin plastic can sometimes now outstrip recycled plastic in terms of price. And that wasn't the case for a long time when oil prices were higher. But lately it has been. We are in charge of that, though. If we say, if enough people email to anybody that's supplying anything in plastic or making things from virgin plastics and ask them the question, what's it going to be packaged in? Where does it come from? Then that demand increases the actual supply, because people will respond to that, and we can get them to change. We can get everybody to change the way that they think about recycling at all, and counteract the sensitivity to global oil prices and other influences on global plastics.